Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras and welcome to another episode of Tales from the Parade Route. Today's episode, we have a very special one for me because it combines two of my favorite topics. It combines wrestling and it combines Mardi Gras. Today's guests, we have the Lucha Krewe. How y'all doing today?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. So I know that y'all have been around since 2014?
Right.
So how did the crew come to be? Like what drove the formation of the Lucha Krewe?
So it's a pretty tight group of friends, like most crews start, and one year during Mardi Gras, must have been 2012, I suppose, a few of us happened to dress up like luchadors for a Toth party, if I recall.
Yeah.
Our friend Brogo's real big on Toth. And an inspired individual among us said, what if we started a dance crew full of luchadors, and what if we don't subscribe to the same aesthetic or conventions that every other dance crew does? Mm-hmm. What if we do something a little bit different? And that was, that was how it all snowballed from there, basically. Yeah.
Well, I love the whole luchador gimmick that y'all use with it. From what I understand from following y'all, is that each luchador has their own special mask, so it's not like everybody's wearing, the
Party City,
Party City standard blue with white rings around the eyes and mouth kind of thing. From what it looks like, each of y'all is making your own or getting your own.
We have custom mask makers in Mexico, and so normally somebody, when they join the crew, we ask them to create their own luchador persona. And this leads to, there being several different kind of noticeable characters or people who achieve, notoriety in the city because they're recognizable luchadors.
Yeah, we don't make people. If you want to change up your costume every year, you can. But Evan and myself and only a few other people, we've maintained the same characters because I want to be recognizable on the parade route. But I think that's the cool thing about our crew is that, we're singularly this like one thing. We're luchadors, so we're recognizable, but we all look different. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what's cool about us. And I think that's what definitely separates us from other crews because, all the other crews look the same. So, like, you would see a luchador and, like, all of our costumes are wildly different, right?
Right, yeah.
And the other thing is that we're only, like, one of two crews that are co-ed. Most of them are just guys or just gals.
Or they have like chaperones of the other,
Sure.
Almost all of them have that. You got to involve the husband and wives at some point,
Right, and so look, it's us and the Disco Amigos, and there might be a third now, but I think for a while it was just the two of us that were that had both male and female marching crew members, because usually it's just, the majority is just female.
Yeah, it's just, right.
So, and then you have like the Stompers and maybe a few other ones I'm not thinking of, but... So we have all these different, we have all these crew members that look totally different. And like a lot of our themes in terms of costumes is like, you can never go wrong with like an animal.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's really cool. Like you're the monkey, you're El Mono.
We've got quite a few rock stars too, except it might be like a curse of the Lucha Krewe because every time somebody dresses up like a new rock star, that rock star ends up passing away. El Ziggy right here, for example.
David Bowie, and then we had Prince. And like the year after someone joined, like that person died. So this year we're hoping that we get a Celine Dion.
We're really clearly we're tapped into some kind of transcendent energies flowing through the universe. So we're the focal point for that.
I love that you guys march around with a ring. There's always something going on with. I always found that hilarious.
What?
They have like ring ropes that, if I'm remembering correctly, that's basically like your your chaperone barricades, correct?
So we do have a support crew. Other dance crews all have special support crews, right? And we have our own. They're called the pile drivers.
Nice.
And so we have a custom wrestling ring that we can wheel around. Normally, it's at the front of our parades. Have little fight scenes in that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, so usually, I mean, I think it's because we fight in there, like, we're a little bit more prone to audience interaction. So we've had, like, I remember one time we were crossing Canal. No, not Canal. We were crossing the expressway, and those little kids got in, and this one kid, like, roundhouse kicked one of our Francisco in the chin or something. Like, they got him. And so we're like, oh my gosh.
Sweet chin music.
Yeah.
You guys have a referee?
No, we had we've had like an epidemic failure of our security staff getting like way too drunk and being like the ones we need to watch out for. Like, we've had everybody. Like, we had some of our friends. Like, we had one guy who was like a district attorney, and he got too drunk. He's like, I gotta go. Like, in the middle of the parade, we're like, dude,
walks off the parade.
You're security, man. You gotta hold it together. But we, so we just like, I do think this this energy that we bring is a little different, and I think that's why we've gained so much popularity. So we have a trailer right now that looks like a wrestling ring. It's
right.
Square, and then we have the ropes on the side and everything. We purchased it from the Lions, right?
Yeah, the Lions, the marching club, the Lions
Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we purchased it from them, and we had reached out to a few folks that were like, hey, we need to buy a trailer, because we had like this flatbed. I don't know, it was like a trailer that you'd use to like, you'd haul stuff.
Yeah, to like haul lawn equipment. Or...
It wasn't a long-term solution. So we put out the bat signal to all of our friends. We're like, hey, we need to find a trailer. And the Lions Club were trying to sell theirs at the same time. And the president told us later, he sold it to us for like nothing. He basically just sort of gave it to us. He when they had a crew meeting to the different crews they could sell their trailer to, he held up like a picture of each crew, and it's all the Lions Club, and they're like at Grits Bar or something like that, and they're all drinking, and he's like, do you want to sell it to this people? And everyone's like, whoa. And then it's like a picture of like one of our members just like with a beer, with like the like just jumping into the crowd, and everyone's like, yeah. So, and that's the story of our trailer, which is I think from '72, like, because we have that on the back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
I didn't
really
realize
old.
it was that old.
It's super old. Like, it has a license plate and it's certified with the state, but you wouldn't want to put it on I-10. You know what I mean? Like, this thing has been
But if you want to talk about like the kind of energy that you bring, it happens with the dance moves, happens with the ring, also happens with whatever accoutrements you can bring onto your trailer, right? Mm. So we're fortunate enough to have 2 daiquiri machines on there, custom daiquiri mixes made. We've got some home brew. Actually, one of our members, Adam Ritter, owns the Zoni Mash Brewery, and so he's really been helping us out a lot. Port Orleans always seems to hook us up with some good beer too. Yeah. So we from the back end of the parade to the front, everything has to be functioning smoothly.
Yeah. Well, you'd mentioned the trailer, and I know that just recently y'all did a fundraiser. From what I understood, it was to help upgrade the trailer.
Right. So with more members, we had this trailer from an all-male crew, and like just the bathroom situation that they had in there, it's not functioning sort of the same for a co-ed crew. But also, I think we have more members now. So our crew, we have 50 members, and actually we've put a cap on our membership, because we want to make sure that we grow responsibly. I think a lot of Mardi Gras crews, they get interest, you get into some good parades, and folks want to be a part of your crew. But then you turn around, you don't know anybody, right? So we wanted to make sure that we capped it. So right now we're sort of like at our limit, and we're gonna stay at 50 at least for a while. I also don't think the city could take like 100 luchadors. You know what I mean? But the trailer is just sort of like the Lions were exceedingly nice to give to us and everything, but it is like we need to make some upgrades.
Yeah.
We're afraid to take it over the Crescent City connection, basically. Like, is
Yeah.
this thing gonna make it? You know, if we try and pull it at a certain speed. So
Right,
So we're like, all right, well, let's get a new trailer.
Yeah, so it limits you.
So we outgrew the trailer, and we knew we needed to get a new one. So there's a couple folks that design trailers here in the city, and you can go as high as you want in terms of price. But so we had like a goal of like we're trying to raise like $10,000 to get a new trailer, one that works for our crew, one that we can keep for years. So our treasurer Anna Broderick, she was like, okay, let's do some fundraisers, and the best way that we thought we were inspired by, like, if you guys you know Miss Mays, right?
Yeah.
So Miss Mays used to have this 24-hour challenge where you could, like, if you drank at the bar all for 24 hours, one drink an hour, didn't puke, didn't pass out, you got a T-shirt or something like
I
novel.
owned
Well,
a T-shirt
yeah.
for a while.
But
And if you passed out, you know, your passed out body is on wall of shame. Essentially.
Wall of shame, yeah. So we were inspired by that. We're like, hey, what if we do like a telethon version of that, where folks can like sponsor us? We're like, oh, I'll sponsor this luchador for like one beer an hour for like $5 or whatever it was. And so we just put out the call to all of our. We saw how many luchadors were interested, and like a number of us, there was like 10 or 12 folks that wanted to do it. We did it on a Friday night at about 8 p.m. and it was going to go to Saturday at 8 p.m. And we had like different events to sort of keep people interested, because we knew that like come 4 or 5 in the morning, like your biggest enemy is going to be boredom, and you're just going to overdrink.
Yeah.
And that is what happened to me. Despite all the events we had, I overdrank and I didn't make it. But I don't know what else you had to say about that.
So we had this thing at Le Bon Tom, and you know, they had a band that night. So, you know, we have a board that, you know, you're keeping track of everybody's drinks. Everybody else from the crew is there too. It's a pretty wild time. And one of the things that we did is that people could pledge money if a member completed a dare. So, for example, we had this one member who had to cry like a baby for a full minute.
Did you say his name is Dustin?
Yeah, his name is Dustin Ruther, and he did a great job with it. I had to do a striptease to Funky Monkey at 7 a.m.
Yeah, and I just sing David Bowie songs, which like got increasingly bad as I got like drunker.
and it was quite magical. In the afternoon, one of our members is a newly minted American citizen. He's from the Netherlands, and somebody had dared him to sing the Star Spangled Banner in front of the entire bar. And he was really nervous about it. This is Joost Moorsink, and he ends up doing it, except everybody else in the bar joins in with him because he was so nervous about it. And it was you know, you don't see patriotism that you really see these days.
At a bar at 11 in the morning.
So it was very strange, you know, doing it for 24 hours. The Rolling Elvi all rolled up at like 1 p.m. and they were ready to rage. And so that's actually what put me out, is because we ended up doing a beer pong and flip cup tournament with them.
Yeah, I made it. I didn't make it that far. I'll admit to that. I made it till about 11:30 in the morning, and then I just sort of like, I didn't want to throw up in front of everybody, so I just took myself out of the competition. But we had 4 members that finished, and in the end, we raised about $6,000. So that for a goal of $10,000 was.
I mean, for a night of drinking.
Yeah, no.
You know?
Yeah,
They never
pretty
pay
good.
me for drinking. I drink constantly.
So, was there a video stream of this?
Yeah, on Facebook they were doing live streams.
Yeah, so all of the dares that if someone's like, hey, I
In the
dare you
chat.
for $20 to do this, like sing a song or get down on your knees like a little baby like Dustin did. We would stream it all so they could see. We had people from it was like a shotgun blast all around the country of people like seeing us and being like, this is crazy, and they were donating money. We had it hooked up to our PayPal or something.
Yeah,
we had it working.
You can just donate it directly through PayPal.
Yeah.
So and but those streams got captured. I think my striptease is still being circulated among the organ grinders private message boards.
Like anytime there was a dare, which we usually did on the hour.
Yeah.
So first of all, we had like chaperone members where there was a sober crew there because we certainly weren't, and
just to make sure that everybody was being safe. That if somebody had drank too much,
they could get home.
They could get home.
We did. We had a ride.
We had to yank some members out. And that's what we wanted to do. It's like it's a challenge, but wanted people to be safe and
So yeah, one of the funnier things that happened to one of our members, Mike Rogers, is that so Mike knew that he couldn't compete for 24 hours, but he promised his wife that he'd be home by like 1. Well, the problem with when you're there with a crew like ours doing this that are planned to do it for 24 hours, and it's like 3 a.m. He's like, okay, I'll just have one more. And he knew he wasn't gonna make it all 24. And then at 6 a.m, the shock when the sun comes up, he's like, "What is it? Is it 1?" And we're like, "Dude, it's 6 a.m." And he's like, "Oh my god, I have to," and like he's like, "Deanna's gonna kill me." And it was just like it was one of the funniest, greatest experiences. But it was really positive. Labantan. Have to give all credit to them. They allowed us to be in their bar for 24 hours in sort of you've been to a Labantan.
Oh, yeah.
They had that back room.
Sure.
So we just like took over that back room. We had like a table back there. And then when the band got off, we were able to like sort of take over the stage and like set up our stuff. And it all just like really worked out. We also drank at their bar all night. So I think it worked out for everybody.
Yeah.
They weren't mad.
So we have a couple other challenges. One of them we're going to do like, is there anything else at that level that we're going to do?
We have plans to break the world record
Yeah.
in the number of Flip Cup players in a single Flip Cup game.
Yes.
So be on the lookout for that.
Is there a record already set?
It's much lower than you would think, actually.
I think it's like in the upper 100s.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get
Really?
because and this is Anna's territory, but she said like if we get 200, we'll clearly beat it. So we're trying to get 200 people, us and other crews, to be in like a Flip Cup line, which you can imagine how long that would take to complete.
Yeah.
But I bet it would still come down to the last cup because it all, you know what I mean?
It
It
always does.
And we're gonna have.
Wait, so everybody has to land it
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You chug your beer and then.
everybody's got to land the flip in a row.
So yeah, I mean, I guess it would be like
that
100,
does seem challenging
100
actually.
aside, and
Right.
then everyone versus the stompers. I think it would be even better. So yeah, we're gonna do that, and definitely the Rolling Elvi. We've played Flip Cup against them a few times. They're a good group of guys.
That sounds fun.
Do you guys want to be in?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'd be
Of
down.
course, y'all are
Scoop crew.
welcome.
Yeah.
Scoop crew.
Yeah.
All right.
Scoop crew.
Calendar.
We actually have we do some philanthropy. We support animal welfare organizations in the greater New Orleans areas. So for the last 3 or 4 years, several of our members work really hard and organize a calendar shoot with professional photographers where various Lucha Krewe members pose with animals.
Yeah.
And every year it seems to get better and better. Brian always gets paired in some kind of weird situation. He had to pose with a Sphinx cat, one of those hairless cats. It's pretty comical. Yeah, it was good.
I think you should have to pose with whatever animal you're representing, and that ought to be like a little scary.
That'd be cool. Yeah, we had some I don't think we had anything more exotic than a bunny. I think John Paul had a bunny. That's everything else is dogs and cats.
Silverback gorilla.
Because it's
I am El Mono. That's
Yeah.
I'm the monkey. So if anybody has any gibbons or any other serpenticoids out,
It's you with Clyde from
yeah.
the old Clint Eastwood movies. Yeah.
Well, I'm just waiting. Who can find us a chupacabra? That's my only question, and then we'll settle that debate once and for all.
That is the southern border southern border of the U.S., northern border of Mexico, in Texas. There's been sightings recently with cows and whatnot.
Really?
If
The cows.
if you look really
reported
hard
it?
during Mardi Gras, you might see a chupacabra.
Okay, so in
We
February
have one,
timeframe,
right?
he usually comes from the southern border of the U.S. over into New Orleans for Mardi Gras.
It has a thirst for goat blood, but also, oddly enough, daiquiris. So. Yeah, so we've got that calendar. All the sales of that go to Arno, and those are actually still available for sale if anybody wants to contact the crew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did one last year with Paws, the Plaquemines Animal Welfare Society, but they actually I don't think exist anymore, and the SPCA sort of took them over.
Okay.
So we teamed up with Arno mostly because I think the members that did it, that put on the calendar event, like had adopted dogs from Arno. I was like, okay, we gave to one organization last year, let's give to another one here. And I don't know, it's been going really well. We raised like $1,400 last year for Plaquemines Animal Welfare Society, and this year the sales are still ongoing, but we hope to be on track, if not exceed that.
Can people go online to buy the calendars?
It's probably easiest to reach us through our Facebook, which is
Facebook.
Lucha Krewe.
Yeah, just message us on Facebook, and I'll send you a PayPal link and get you hooked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have y'all announced y'all's parade schedule for this year?
Yes, we're going to be in 4 events this year. So can I give you a little bit of history of like our parading? Like,
Sure,
so
absolutely.
we started in 2014 with our president. So I'm the second president, and Evan's the vice president. But our first president, his name's Max. He lived on Ferret Street, and we started out really as a Ferret Street crew. And the first parade we were ever in was Crew of Ferret, which, like as you know, used to be a
Yeah.
crew,
Goes
and then
down
like
Ferret.
took off like 10 years or
Yeah.
something like that.
Right.
I don't know. Did they take off for Katrina? I'm not even sure why they.
I think it was just
Yeah.
decline in membership, and
Okay, so but
now
now
there was that dip. There was a few years where there was kind of a decline in Mardi Gras crews, just because I think that in the early '80s there was a big popularity with Mardi Gras because of the oil booms, and as
kidding.
the oil industry kind of tapered off here, to where a lot of the oil companies moved to Houston,
Yeah, a lot of
and,
the money
you know,
moved
they
away.
moved out of state. A lot of their membership either transferred to those new locations, or may have had to take on different jobs to where being in a Mardi Gras crew wasn't in the budget anymore.
Well, do you guys think that it's the biggest and best it's been now? Or
Oh yeah,
As far as I
think
know,
that
yeah. I think it's gotten better every year for the past.
Yeah, I
10
mean,
years
seeing
now, it
new
feels
crews
like it.
coming in. I mean, this year, in between Metairie and Orleans, I think we've added.
There's one in the east.
They've added like 3 or 4 crews this year alone. We're seeing more and more crews, to where I saw that Ferret applied for Super Crew status this year.
right?
They've been blowing up. Yeah.
Yeah, just last year we saw Iris, which probably 10 years ago only had a few hundred members. They're
Yeah,
now
it
at,
seemed like a parade
like,
that was
3,000
going away,
members.
and now they
Right.
have the most
Yeah.
I've heard
members
that.
of any parade now.
Iris
And,
is fantastic.
Plus on the past few years we've seen, with regards to marching crews, there's been a drastic uptick in marching crews between y'all, the Pussyfooters,
Yeah, that's a
the
fairly new
Stompers,
phenomenon,
That's
really.
a
Yeah.
post-Katrina phenomenon. For
Absolutely.
Sure.
It was
Yeah.
always just marching bands, which I love marching bands,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. But
Well-
it was always very traditional, very stringent. It was either, high schools, a few colleges, or military. There's a few parades that only do military bands. So,
We've actually a lot of the dance crews have experienced this, where it's increasingly more and more difficult to get into parades.
Yeah.
And it not only has to do with the proliferation of other dancing crews,
Sure.
but also because of those new
the new
regulations
rules
in
that
New
they put
Orleans,
in.
where you can only have one marching band or one dance crew between each float, and you can't have multiple ones. And I think they did that to save time.
Well,
They had to
I
shorten
think
up
that
some
one of the problems that
parades.
they were running into is with certain parades, they'd have, like 3 and 4 groups in between each float, which,
Yeah.
while it's welcoming to see, different marching groups and different art methods for either their dance styles or their costumes or, do the
Their
lack of better
chairs.
words, their shtick, that it just got to where the parade, for a parade to roll, say in this block area, instead of it being like an hour and a half span, some of them were extending out to like 3 and 4 hours.
They
Yeah.
can't
It's
move.
just sheer numbers.
I don't know.
you
I gotta
it's-
be honest though. There is nobody that puts more sweat equity in a Mardi Gras than a dance crew.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Okay, sorry. Marching bands, then dance crews. Like those kids,
I don't know how
marching
those
bands.
marching
I wouldn't
bands
take
do it.
anything
Yeah, that-
ever away from them. So I mean, they all look miserable and hot or cold in the wrong way every
Especially
time.
the drummers.
Yeah.
With the bass drum,
Yeah.
yeah.
scoliosis. That's the only thing I'm looking
Back
at.
hurts
But-
looking at
But
that half
I
the
mean,
time.
you're talking about crews that work all year long. I remember 2 years ago, Toth got rid of everybody in the middle. All of a sudden, like I don't know if there was weather or whatever.
Yeah, it was last year. It was,
Last
Was it last year?
Yeah,
The
because
city,
the-
that had nothing to do with Toad. That was the city.
Every
they wanted
parade
to
got
roll,
rid of
Yeah, they
everything.
wanted to roll Toad through as quick as they could, and it was like a sprint. I'd never
It
seen
was.
a
It was
Yeah, and they were
all,
just like-
all 4 of the day parades ended up having to do that because the weather was coming. It was about to be
Yeah.
bad, and
But if you're a crew and you work all year long, none of us get paid for any of this,
Yeah.
right? Like, because we're all volunteers. We work really hard. Everyone puts their own money into this. Some people put a lot of money into it, and a lot
Yeah.
of crews put a lot of time and effort in this. And to, like, be told last second, hey,
yeah,
too bad, so
it,
sad.
it was severe coming through. I mean,
I get
we
it.
brought a lot of we bring a lot of sound equipment out there on the tarp for that Sunday, and we had tarps and shit everywhere because we were like, oh, this is coming through.
And it did storm.
It did.
It did storm.
It was bad.
Yeah, I was doing box wine, and
I
it
was
was
really, really
Yeah.
hoping that all the parades kind of went through, and then some of the crews just decided, hell, we're going to follow them. 'Cause-
And that's the way you should do it. If you've logistically you've pulled all your people together, you guys have like spent money to get your float ready or whatever you're pulling behind you. You've rented out your portalette, and you've got your beer, and everyone's carved out that time. I mean, you got to go. So I hope the fact that the city is leaning into less marching crews, I think is bad. Of course, I mean we're
Yeah.
a marching crew. Like,
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. They're like one between floats. It's like, I don't know, less floats. Or how about you let us go into Endymion? Why are there no marching crews in Endymion? There's like
I think that's
marching
an Endymion
bands.
decision, right?
Well, why?
Yeah, it is
Aesthetic.
sort of. It's
like an
sort of
aesthetic
based
choice.
on.
Listen, it would only be improved by letting us in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Period. I don't care
as
what anybody
beautiful
says.
as
In.
yeah, that's a pure crew decision there. Like
I don't
some
know.
of them
You should
only have
look into
marching
that
bands.
camera
Some
right
only.
there and call Endymion out.
Endymion, you need to let us in. I wish I had my mask. Like, let us in. Let
me tell you something, brother.
But not
You
just
can do
Lucha Crew. I mean, as much as we like sort of make, we go after the 610. Like, why are the 610 in there? Or Organ Grinders or somebody like that. Like Established or Pussy
Yeah.
Cutters or Muffaladas or all these other folks.
Just
that
crack the door open, try it out, and I think that they would find it's going to. I mean, the super crews, they get amazing bands. Love to see the bands between the floats, but a lot of folks get really excited to see their favorite dance crews.
Oh yeah, yeah.
A lot of
So,
the older super crews, though,
especially
they've
on
had
that.
the same bands for years and
Sure,
years.
sure.
And I think it's just an established thing. They're like, it is what it is.
This is
Yeah.
what
But,
people expect.
And really, the mid-city crowd compared to the uptown crowd is kind of 2 different things. It seems like an older, a little
right.
more subdued crowd to me in mid-city, and that's their traditional family spot they've had for generations at this point. In uptown, it's like everybody just shows up and parties, So it is a little different.
Crew of Chad and all that. Where
Yeah,
they're, like,
I mean, it's a
parking out
little
there.
different, route as far as the mood of the route.
Well, let me ask you, what is the biggest crew?
Well, I think Iris is actually.
Yeah, I
has
think
the
right
most
now it's
numbers.
Numbers-wise,
yeah.
yeah.
Last number that I heard was Iris was
So
the-
bigger
is
than
the largest.
Endymion, bigger than Muses.
Well, I
Yeah.
think Nick's might be next. Is it Nick's or?
Yeah, like a
yeah,
lot of
Muses
the
is
women's parades are like in that top 5 to where, I think that the top 5, not necessarily this order, it's, I think it's going to be Endymion,
Is it
Iris.
least to largest?
It's Endymion, Iris, Bacchus, Nyx,
Toth maybe,
and Toth, yeah.
and Tux is right on
And
their heels
Tux is
too.
right
But
on
not
their
Rex
heel.
or Zulu or none of those.
Now
huh?
Rex is
No.
actually
No,
a
they're
small
small.
number
Yeah.
comparatively.
Yeah.
Those are, I think those would be crews that thrive more on social exclusivity than raw numbers.
Absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
there's very few Rex members that you'll ever meet that will tell you they're in Rex. They're
Well-
very, very quiet about it.
So Aaron, one of our members, his wife Savannah, is in Iris, and I think she's in Iris because she couldn't get into Nyx or Muses, whichever one
Yeah.
it was. It was like, no. It's
Well,
just
Muses
like-
and Knicks have been at a cap as far as how many floats they can have for some years now. So they kind of
It
rely
does
on
limit
people
you, yeah.
dropping out to allow new members.
even when they
in.
have 45 floats or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I remember seeing
The cap, though.
in Nyx last year because we are in Druids, and you just the 45th float or whatever it is, the last float, and the whole crowd is defeated. They've been there forever. They've they've been drinking for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, I just feel bad for them. But to go back to what you said, so we started out actually started out as a sub crew of the crew of Ferret. So we were the crew of Ferret. If you didn't want to be a riding member, when they first started out, I'm talking like, I don't know how many. Floats
This is when they're coming back from their hiatus,
Right.
in 2014, and it was.
But sort of a new crew altogether.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was resurrecting this crew.
They basically
And
like
so
a
we were the
resurrected the
official
name and
dance
went with
crew.
it.
We were the official dance crew, the crew Ferret.
Yeah, kind of like Deta has the dictators, dancers, or whatever.
So we did that, and so we're like, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and we were sort of like carried under their insurance, and we're just like just to make sure that like, and actually our first year that we ever rolled, we met Jerry, who's like the president of the Disco Amigos, and he and Francois, his like sort of second in command, the Disco Amigos. You know how they have that conversion van that looks like a bull?
Yeah.
The Toro de Oro.
Yeah.
They did the sound for us. So I'll be like forever thankful that they did that. So we marched, they did the sound, everyone got drunk, had a great time, and we're like, okay, I think we can do this. Because it was like a one-off. We didn't really know what it was. We learned like one dance from Jimena, who taught us a cumbia dance. And I don't even think we had more than one dance, right?
We only had one choreographed dance to start. Otherwise, we were just like dancing to random songs and just
Yeah.
interacting with the crowd, and that's how we started out. And now we've got like 8 or 9 choreographed songs.
I can't really
15
picture
members.
y'all doing synchronized dancing, honestly.
We,
I don't know if I've ever.
We keep it simple. Our like lowest common denominator is like you see like a crew like the Organ Grinders where they're doing like these technical dances and they're
Yeah.
switching lines. Well, this guy is the dance. I'm not gonna say too much because you do a good job, but we do a lot of flexing. Like you've seen Pumping Iron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Flexing, there's lots of pelvic thrusting, lots
Yeah.
of spanking, beating of the bass drum. It's really just building on a lot of raw sexual energy. That's
Yeah, I mean,
that's-
I don't know. When I picture y'all coming down the street, I just don't picture y'all in a line. Like,
And
may have happened.
oftentimes it's not perfectly in alignment, but I think
Yeah.
that joie de vivre, our energy
loose
kind of makes up for
choreography.
that a little bit. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we try to like interact with the crowd. Like a few of our luchadors are particularly popular with the 55 and older crowds.
Okay.
It's like a big deal, actually. But I don't know. The crowd interaction, I think, is what we're like most proud of. Is that we really do try to flex on people and have a
Yeah.
good time with them. Where I think most crews are just sort of like in a line. Like I'm not gonna say like
Yeah, doing a synchronized dance.
right. And so we do that, but it's much less because I think most of us are like more interested in like the wrestling moves or the poses, and it's the integration of that into the dances, and it's like, like how many of like these flexes can you do? But so in terms of Crew of Ferret, we march with Crew of Ferret. We still march with Crew of Ferret. We will forever march with Crew of Ferret. But when we started doing more parades. We started doing more parades. We knew we had to like be like our own entity. So like just like all the other crews, like we're our own legal entity.
Yeah.
And so we started doing other crews and like collecting our dues and everything. But like one of the things we do, because everyone has to come up with their own costume, our dues are much less than a lot of other crews.
Yeah.
Because like most of the money is you're paying for it yourself. It's just, we have like Andrew Magliotta, our first like real dance captain, is like a super wrestling enthusiast. Do you like Wildcat wrestling?
Oh yeah.
So he's like, I'm sure you've seen him there. Like he goes there all the time. Like he and a few of our other crew members represent like the real like some of our members are members because like, wait a minute, you can wear a mask and get wasted and no one can identify you. I want to be in your crew. Oh, you guys are wrestlers? I love wrestling. I love Lucha Libre. So we have people like across the board. But like a few of our members are like more of I really, really love wrestling. And you guys are the closest thing that we have to that here. And like, so, but, So we've been a part of Crew Ferret ever since. Crew Ferret marches on the Saturday before Endymion. I believe it's the
the 15th this year, February 15th.
February 15th. We're in Crew Ferret. Like I said, we'll always be in Crew Ferret just because when they started out, we started out, and we have like a very we'll go to their events and they're a great group of guys. So that's Crew Ferret. Our second parade that we do this year is Druids, which is on
the 19th.
The 19th
of February.
And
they roll before Nick's.
Yes. And Steve, the marshal.
They poke a lot of fun at Nick's too. It's kind of hilarious.
They do.
It's great. It's a really good route for us because we do get that uptown route. You start off on Jefferson, you hang right on Magazine, and then you go all the way. It's just like a really good route for us. We have a great time with it. And the marshal, Steve, is exceedingly nice. He's like a really, really great guy. The third event we're doing is that we are one dance of the Lords of Leather Ball.
Ah,
nice.
Do you know more?
Yeah, so basically one of the missions of our crew is to, we don't want to be insular. We want to meet other people and other crews because they're all awesome. They're all amazing. Yeah. And so we try and do mixers with other crews. And if anybody from another crew is listening and wants to do a mixer with us, reach out because it doesn't take much to get us out to the bar. And so we did a mixer with the Lords of Leather at the Phoenix Bar, and it was one of the most fun. It was one of the most fun events our crew ever did. And they asked us to do a dance for their ball. Now I can't say what we'll be doing specifically because they cloak it in an aura of secrecy as they should. But I'll just say we're incredibly honored to be asked to do that because the Lords of Leather are a tremendous group of folks.
After speaking with them, what was it, earlier this week or last week?
Tuesday, Monday, something like that.
I have to go see that one day.
Yeah.
That ball seems like a kick in the ass.
It's in the Hilario Center this year.
Yeah.
It's on that Sunday night, and so we're doing one number for them, and our crew will probably be leathered up, I'd guess, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to be.
Yeah.
So we have at least like 8 or 10 folks that are, I hope more than that, but a good number of folks going to do, I don't know that we can say too much because I do think that they keep it
they play it very close to the chest.
All right, so we won't say.
He talked a good bit about it, but not in detail of what everybody's doing. So
so we'll be introducing one of their the people who comes out costumed. In their
So I think that's like been, to me, meeting the Lords. So meeting the Lords has been one of like the best and like the refreshing things that our crew's ever done. So in terms of Mardi Gras, we do those 3 things, and then the 4th thing we do is we do the crew at Dead Beans.
Oh, so I haven't seen Dead Beans, but I've seen Red Beans. This year, I'm planning on making it to Dead Beans as well.
You should. It's great. the president of the Red Beans, Devin DeWolf, he's also, I think he's president of both organizations.
I think he oversees, and they actually just started a third.
A third one, yes. I
third
saw this the other day.
Yeah,
What's the third one called?
I forget it. I believe it's like Brazilian.
Cool.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, it like translates to like sweet beans or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah, and so because Dead Beans was like a sub crew of Red Beans, they got too big from what I understand, or it was just becoming so much of a thing that they started their own parade that begins in Bayou St. John. And then marches in Treme and meets up with Red Beans. And for that first year, they were kind enough to ask us to march at the front of their parade as the protectors of.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's super cool.
And it was such a low-key parade that there wasn't a police escort or anything, so it was our crew like standing in Broad Street, like holding off traffic and stuff, wildly gyrating, and all of these drivers, they didn't know what was coming.
So I love that the little neighborhood parades like that are coming back. That's something that I remember when I was a kid that just, over time died off when everybody, well, especially the city, wanted everybody on the uptown route.
Right.
There used to be parades all over the city, so.
I think it's like it will end up being like the most consequential thing we've ever done as a crew. Like I really do think that. So we have like where we usually have a float, we just have like a pedicab that we bought. And it's actually one that we got from. It's made in Mexico.
Yeah, so there's different styles of pedicabs, and you'll see one particular style here in New Orleans with two back wheels, one front wheel. In Mexico, they have a different style with two front wheels with a bench on top, and then one back wheel that actually is
Yeah, you're right on the
pedaled.
front, right?
Yeah, and so I work in Mexico for a few months every summer as an archaeologist, and I'd always seen these Mexican pedicabs, and I said, this is what our crew needs to pay proper homage to to Lucha Libre tradition. And so we had a couple of members who actually drove all the way to Dallas to get this this style of pedicab for us.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
crazy. There's like a pawn shop in Dallas. They're like, what? Like we're a Mardi Gras crew. Like what? Like they didn't. I explained it to them. It was fantastic because they held on to it. They're like, hey, we got 2 members. They're like, members? What are you talking about? Like, no, you don't understand. This thing will be in parades. Like parades. Like. Didn't get it at all. I think probably still don't get it, but they were awesome
They
to hold
probably
on.
talk about it still today.
We called them because we're like, hey, we looked online. We're like, hey, we want this pedicab because pedicabs are sort of expensive, like $1,000 or $2,000. But we got this like a really good deal, and we're like, hey, can you hold on to it? They're like, we're a pawn shop, dude. Like,
That's not our.
Holding up.
yeah,
That's
when
not-
can you get it?
That's
So
not our motto. We don't hold on to things.
we're pawn shop.
Like
in
we're pawn shop,
Dallas.
not pawn shop and storage.
Right. They're like, yes, like if you're gonna like guarantee. So anyway, we after basically annoying them to the point where they were like, okay, we won't sell it. You guys sound crazy enough to actually drive from New Orleans. We had 2 members go and like strap it down in the back of like a rental truck and bring it back. But so we're gonna take this thing and for our smaller parades like that and Midsummer, Mardi Gras, and Decadence, and a few other things where you can't have a full trailer. You just like logistically you can't. The turns are too tight. We have that for Dead Beans where we lead. Our crew marches, but also we still block off the streets. So they start at like the Cabrini Bridge. Do you guys know where that is?
Yeah.
Start at the Cabrini Bridge. Party there for a few hours or something, and noodle our way down through like Esplanade at some point.
Second line style, we'd up Pals. Where else do we stop?
Like Leuze's by the track.
Yeah, Leuze's by the track. Yeah,
And then St. Bernard. We go like down to St. Bernard, right?
Bayou Road.
like-
Esplanade.
No, you're right.
It's my old walk to Jazz Fest, it seems like.
Almost, yeah.
I used to live down
And then
there.
make our way sort of down into the Treme by like the Mother-in-Law Lounge. That's what Dead Beans does, and at the same time, Red Beans is doing that from another direction.
Yeah, starting up in like the
Yeah.
Marinee or
And so they all converge, and it's just this like giant party.
And so it's kind of funny last year because I was at the front of the parade and for whatever reason our police escort left us. I don't know why. And so I'm at the front of this parade, and we're marching down Esplanade. You know, I've had a few, like you do.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I realized that like we got to turn in the Treme, but I don't know where the parade route is. Nobody told me the parade. I don't see anybody from Dead Beans around me at all, so I just say, "All right, y'all, we're turning here into the Treme." So I say, I hope I chose the right street. But you know what? The moment you enter Treme, you know, from Esplanade, it was like the streets were filled with people in bean gear,
Yeah.
and it's like all these different parades show up, and it all collapses into this beautiful chaos of all these different musical groups, brass bands, pedicabs of music, and it's truly one of the best parts about Carnival is what happens on Mardi Gras in the Treme. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's cool.
Do the Red Beans and Dead Beans parade with each other, or is it just the end party that they
It's just the end
merge?
part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they do like the Dead Beans really does take like the De los Muertos theme, and they do like a funeral dirge, and they, you know, like they take the role seriously, and so the mood of it is a little different, but it really fits with our aesthetic. Like we have a couple crew members that you do it right, like they bean up.
Yeah, like I've
Yeah.
got like a bean luchador outfit.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. And we try and get along with it too. I found this coffin out by my house last summer, just like in the street.
That's a strange thing to find.
Yeah, you know, and
Yes, we're gonna use the coffin.
and so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that coffin and put it on a cart filled with ice. That's gonna be our cooler for the parade. So if you want to see a
Nice.
dance crew with a coffin cooler, come check out Dead Beans.
I like that. Not only did you find a random coffin, but you were like, I could use that random coffin.
Yeah, but it's not. Oh, it's not like plush lined. It didn't smell bad.
It's like a pine box coffin.
But it's like
Yeah.
it's like
a Halloween
for-
costume.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's
like a
not a
prop.
real deal.
Yeah.
I was thinking there was a flood and one popped out the
No,
ground. you know?
It's not like one of those with the handles on the side. It's like it's
It's one of the old Western simple.
It's very basic, yeah.
yeah, that's exactly what it is. So we're like, oh, it's probably for because you live over in Mid City, so it's probably like a remnant from like the mortuary. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Just
yeah,
just spray the inside of it with like Flex Seal. Seal.
I could use this as a boat now.
But so we do. That's our fourth. We end on Mardi Gras. But I'm sure as you guys have seen, like actually, we parade more in the fall.
Yeah, I know y'all marched in, like you'd mentioned, the Southern Decadence Parade.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Crew of Boo.
Carnival
you know, a lot-
Latino actually didn't parade last year. Normally they parade in mid-October, but yeah, for I'm not entirely sure. What the
I think
reason
just
was.
regrouping this
Yeah,
year.
regrouping, and so we'll probably be in Carnival Latino next year.
So we do as many, if not more, during the fall, which I think a lot of marching crews are the same way. Like
Yeah,
so,
it's
for
starting
example,
to get that way.
Midsummer Mardi Gras.
Yeah,
Right,
A
that-
lot of the marching crews
Pretty much
have
everybody.
embraced Crew Vogue and
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, isn't Crew Vogue like one of the coolest ever? I think.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that they did.
That was one that needed to happen. That somebody finally went, we're just making it. We're doing it. You know?
Seriously, like everything they do, like in the Crew of Oak parade, because that's the neighborhood that I live in now, and you used to live over there. And that Friday, which I think it's like D'état Friday, is that what it is? It's like the Friday before.
Yeah, it's D'état Friday.
Okay,
yeah.
so and they do their Crew of Oak thing where they sort of go around the neighborhood and go to sleep.
Yeah, because you know that's what Midsummer Mardi Gras used to be, right? It used to be like a bar crawl through East Carrollton.
Right.
And it got so big that they had to, start going to Palmer Park instead. But yeah, Crew of Oak still keeps it real on D'état Friday.
Yeah.
Keeps it real and pretty weird.
Yeah, and I love Midsummer Mardi Gras because I do think that that's sort of like there's not many events that are like super locals, but like no one really knows about Midsummer Mardi Gras in
Yeah.
the city, right?
Or how many tourists are in town in the end of August.
Right. Yeah. It's
So I think it's just us kind of thing, and so we do Midsummer Mardi Gras. We've done Decadence for like I don't know 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
We'll never stop doing Decadence. It's hilarious, and we have a great time. The Lucha Krewe, I don't know. We're meant for the quarter. We just are.
Oh, Run Into the Bulls. I saw that.
Yes,
y'all had a bunch of
actually,
folks who were in Run Into the Bulls.
Yeah, they asked us to come and do Running of the Bulls. We had some members who made custom chanclas or like flip flops that they used to spank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was sort of the thing. They're like, can we do this? And I emailed them. I was like, yeah, but we're going to bring these chanclas to spank people. And they didn't, like, address that when they said okay. And I was like, just letting you know, we're coming with these chanclas. And so our crews had these these sandals like either on sticks or they put them at the end of bandanas so they were like retractable.
Nice.
And they were just spanking ass for the whole time and they had a great time. Like it was great. Like we
And that was actually the same day as crew of as Midsummer Mardi Gras. So we had some members who were up at 7 a.m. doing Running of the Bulls, and that's a
couple hours later.
Yeah.
And then and some folks just kept drinking all day, and then went straight into Midsummer Mardi Gras. We even had one member who it was 9 a.m. at Snake and Jake's the next day, and he was still going. So
actually
Snake and Jake stuff.
that member, Chris
Yeah.
Blackwell, he is the inspiration for the 24-hour challenge because he inadvertently did 24 hours. And we're like, oh, we could probably do this. And he was everyone's like number one horse because everyone's taking side bets.
Right. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
who's going to finish this thing? My wife didn't even bet on me. Anyway, I got to talk to her about that.
She knows you're a cheap date.
She's like, you're not going to make it. I didn't. So I was like, oh, maybe you do know what you're talking about. But she was like, Chris is going to make it. And Chris made it. No one was ever worried about him. He crushed it. But
How many people completed it?
4.
4? Yeah.
4.
Yeah,
Out of
yeah.
How many?
So out of 10 or 12, I think to start. So the finishers were Dustin Ruther, Yost Morsink, Kayed Gonzalez, and
Blackwell.
and Chris Blackwell. Technically, Yost Morsink was the winner because he raised the most money. Except Dustin. So if y'all keep up with wrestling, you know that you have your Technicos, which are like your baby faces in American wrestling, and then you have your Rudos,
heels.
which are the heels. And El Cthulhu, Dustin, believed that because he finished his beer first, that he actually won the challenge. And so whenever this championship belt is presented to Yost, Dustin gets up and claims it as his own in true Rudo fashion. We love wrestling. We love the drama. Everybody in the crowd booed him. It was glorious. It was
like one of the funniest things anyone's ever done in our crew.
He was pretty much Kanye to Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah.
Award.
Yeah.
He crowned himself the people's champion of the 24-hour challenge.
And he did that, and people are like fuck it. Or they're like screw you, and they're like booing him and everything. And he's like, check your privilege. He's like, I am your ruler. I am your ruler. And everyone's like booing him. It was awesome. It was the most wrestling thing we've done.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great.
We always wanted to, and I think one day we will, because we've been blessed. New Orleans has been blessed with hosting WrestleMania.
Yeah, we've had 2 WrestleManias.
When's the next one? Do you know?
Here, I mean, it's bid on kind of like the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And they keep it pretty,
Yeah.
close to chest of, where it's going to be the following year, to where I don't think that they've, that there's been any true leaks yet as to, in 2021 it's going to be in, Paris, France, or wherever,
Yeah. So, whereas the 610 Stompers, the Macy's Day Parade is their thing.
Yeah.
I think ours, beyond the 24-hour challenge, which I do think is the culmination of what our crew can become, is us tailgating and or getting on to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't know what else you'd want to, what else it could be. Right?
I think that is on the spiritual journey of our crew. that is reaching the state of enlightenment. Right
I'll
there.
tell you that there's a guy in WWE whose name is No Way Jose, and he's got a party of ruffians that lead him out, to where when he's coming out, everybody's chanting "No way, Jose," and you'll see people dressed, a banana or, wearing, wild wigs or whatever, following around with him, and they parade around the ring, I want to say pretty much the entire time during his match. That may be a guy that...
Cool. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I would have never known about
Have you
that.
guys ever thought about showing up to Wildcat?
So we have a couple members like Andrew, what was it said earlier, that goes. And we met, what was the one wrestler, Matador? What was his name?
Can't remember.
There was one guy who was just like,
The black goat looking character.
I don't know.
That
we
was
only
my
met
favorite one
him
we've
outside
seen.
of the ring, where they'd be like, "Oh, I think his name was Matador, right?" I hope I'm
Because
not
they have
saying
a couple lucha guys that wrestle.
So that's another. That is another avenue. Like we need to explore that more. There's actually no good reason why we're.
Where can people follow y'all?
You can find us principally on Facebook and Instagram. Our Instagram handle is at Lucha Krewe. So LuchKrewe. And then on Facebook, if you just look for Lucha Krewe, you'll find us easily enough on there. There is the Crew de Lucha, right? There is another kind of luchador-esque crew in New Orleans. They really only, I think, get together on Mardi Gras Day. They're the ones who have that giant mobile ring.
Oh, yeah.
Like at
around
St.
Mar-
Anne's.
Yeah, at St. Anne's, and
We've worked with them.
Yeah, we've worked with them before. They're cool folks. But that's mostly their thing. But Lucha Krewe is what you can find us on Facebook.
I want to thank y'all so much for coming on with us today.
Our
This has
pleasure.
been an incredible interview. I look forward to seeing y'all out on the parade route. Every year when I hear like Harry Belafonte or some kind of like Latino music coming,
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, here they come.
Nice.
We we want to honor the Latino heritage of this city, and we do that through music. We do it through dance. We do it through wrestling, and so it's always a privilege to bring that to the streets. Celebrate Latino culture in this city.
Yeah, I think we also play music that you don't hear our music in any other crew.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of different music you
Right.
can play. You're never going to hear Taylor Swift from us. Ever. I can promise.
Yeah.
It's disheartening.
But yeah, Harry Belafonte. I don't know another crew that plays.
Yeah. Yeah, I think y'all are the only one that
Lowrider?
does like.
Come on.
Right.
Yeah, but they're great songs. Everyone loves them,
Yeah.
right? But no, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, so again, be sure to check out the Lucha Krewe. You can also follow us on Facebook at Parade Route Tales, Twitter, Parade Route Tale, Instagram, Parade Route Tales. Go to our website, paraderoutetales.com, where you can see all of our episodes or links to our social medias. Signing out. We'll see you on the route. Happy Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras.